Hi, everyone. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to start reading. Okay. Um, okay. Okay. Okay, I shall start now. Okay. Okay. We are all, at least in part, physical beings. We have bodies that can interact with the physical world. This physical world we live in is teeming with life, rich in complexity, and huge around and within us. From bacteria to insects to elephants, our world is filled with creatures, both great and small. Every nook and cranny of this earth is pervaded by wondrous life. When I think about the earth, I think of all there is, from the solemn black darkness of the deepest oceanic trenches to the lush greenery of humid tropical rainforests, all the way to the ice-capped peaks of rolling mountain ranges. This earth is filled with awe-inspiring things, is it not? Somewhat ironically, I used to think of this grand creation just like the wondrous awe I felt from beholding it fleetingly. I would find myself in awe for a time and soon thereafter forget about it, my mind consumed with other things. But I began to wonder, what if this wondrous awe were more than just a moment? What if it weren't fleeting? What if it were able to push us to something greater, something bigger, to make us wonder and ponder and seek how and why it all came to be? As a biology undergraduate, or recently, biology undergraduate, I'm taught that the how and why of it all was happenstance, that it was not necessarily purposeful. Yet the Bible says that God created everything and he called it good, Genesis 1:31. That's something I don't find too hard to accept. But then a question still remains. Is nature itself really God's artistic creative work? I believe that he created it. But how much thought did he really put into creation? This was a question I pondered and deliberated time and again, especially during my studies in biology. There's a lot that I don't know, but what I do know is that the more I learn and understand, the more I experience and live, the more I have come back to the conclusion that nature is God's work of art. I've marveled time and again how complex everything is. On the land, in the sea, and in the air, there is an amazingly abundant diversity of plants and animals, such a delicate cycle of life sustained in our ecosystems. This very same complexity and intricacy that we see in nature is in us too. For example, in each body cell, we have DNA, the book holding the information needed to code for our entire body. There are also the energy-producing factories called mitochondria, which house the world's tiniest rotary motors that produce energy to sustain life. Such mind-blowing machinery contained within our bodies. Whether on the earth or in our bodies, this physical world that we relate to with our own physicality ultimately gives us a glimpse and understanding of the Creator whom we have not yet seen. As we consider this, perhaps we can think of a scene where a painter is working on a piece of art. The artist stares at the blank canvas. He deliberates and then makes his plans. Then the painter expresses himself. A splash of color, a flick of a brush. He conveys his feelings and his thoughts in a concerted effort to create the painting. He paints with a goal in mind. He creates the painting for his purpose, but it is also undoubtedly an expression of who he is. A keen viewer of the painting might be able to observe what is important to its creator, and perhaps even uncover the painter's thought process. Perhaps one artist likes to use polka dots in his paintings, while another likes to use lines. Perhaps one painter has spontaneous bursts of color splashed about the canvas, while another uses fine, detailed, neat lines. There's much to be found about an artist through the art they create. The world around and within us is no different. The amazing diversity of life on Earth is like an explosion of colors on canvas. The precious uniqueness of each person, each of us bearing a different fingerprint, is like a mosaic of endlessly different shapes and colors. This world is a work of art. We are all works of art. And then to think, oh, the vastness of the universe as God's canvas. How telling it is of how big he must be. I love the way the philosopher Alvin Plantinga describes God's artistry. Many seem to think of God as like a classical artist, one who prizes economy, restraint, discipline. But perhaps God is more like a romantic artist. Perhaps he revels in glorious variety, riotous creativity, overflowing fecundity, uproarious activity. Why else would he create a million species of beetles? Yeah, so to end, if all of creation truly is God's artwork, then we can only imagine how much thought, care, passion, and as Plantinga says, riotous creativity he made it with indeed. As I've come to understand, wonder at, and experience the beauty of creation, I've unexpectedly come to better understand and experience God himself. Just like how art can lead us to its artist, creation has led me to its creator. Okay, thank you.